Let's go to Lake Texoma. Go look at some lots and houses. Are you ready? Are you not going with us? What? Are you making fun of me? Is she making fun of me? I think she's making fun of me.
Make me work, make me sweat inside, make me feel like I'm alive. Take this hurt, lady, throw it in my face. Don't let these bones slow you down. 'Cause I'm coming on strong. The grass should've looked greener. I need a true believer in disguise. If I'm loving you wrong.
Let's go! So, we are heading out to Lake Texoma. We have a lot that is almost on the water, and we are closing on it hopefully this Friday. Because it's so close to the water, we had to do a elevation certificate. We got to get flood insurance, and so that's postponed closing a little bit. The bank has everything they need now. I guess as of yesterday morning, we're waiting on them. We should be closing Friday, hopefully, but that's where we're heading now. Cool thing with this lot that we found and went under contract with is I was walking on the same street and I found a house that looked like it was vacant. So I looked up the owner, gave them a call, and I said, would you like to sell this house? He said, as a matter of fact, I think I would like to sell this house. We agreed upon the price and put it under contract last week. It needs a lot of work, but we're going to get in there and make it look really cool and hopefully also use it as an Airbnb space. And then the lot we're looking at, we're actually gonna do a new construction home on it and use it for Airbnb. Cool thing with Airbnb is we use it as an investment. It pays for the property, we make money, but then we also get to use the property whenever we want. And that's kind of how we do it out at the cabin. We go out there normally during the week because that's kind of the slow time for Airbnb. So we'll block out a few days and go out there and hang out. So that's gonna be the goal for these two properties out here on the lake. So let's go check them out. Okay, so this is the entrance. This is actually one of the entrances. This is how you get into the property. I guess this will put us on the east side of the property. Our actual entrance is a road over, but it's got a gate on it and it's locked up. There's actually a few houses that are right on the water and they had the back of their lots fall out and they were getting really close to losing their house. And that's why this road's so messed up, because they've got big dump trucks and dozers coming in and out of here, I guess trying to get it fixed. You can see that cone, that's where we almost ruined the city of Denison's water supply. We'll get into that here in a little bit. This road is bad. Let's see if we can get across without getting stuck. Look down that cliff. We're gonna die. Crazy. Okay, we're gonna park on my buddy's lot here for a second while we get out and go take a look at everything. Here we go. So like I said before, we parked on my buddy's property just because we came in on this road. When we close on this, we've got a gate on the other road that comes in that we'll use for the most part. But for convenience, we just parked here and then we walk down to the lot. So if you look out this way, you can actually see the lake. We'll walk to my property line down here. So this is the south side of the property, and then our property goes back to the north. And then you kind of see the eastern property line right there that follows the road. And then back to the north and to the west, our property goes pretty much down to the water, depending on the water elevation. So our property ends at, I think it's 625 based off the elevation of the water. That's where our property goes to. So walk down below and check it out. The crazy thing with this property is even though it's right on the water, when the lake floods, 90%, probably over 90% of this property is underwater. That's why there's not a house here and it's been empty for a while and not been able to sell. So if you see this flag right here, in reference to my property line, You can look over there. I'll walk over here. There's another flag right here. This is the flood line. So the flood line comes across, and then you see the other flag over there. That's the flood line. If you go from here and you span back to my southeast corner, you can see this is the only spot I can really build on. And what's crazy is I can't build on the property line because we have power lines you see above us, that's Encore. They want me to be 12 foot back from that. So I gotta build 12 foot away from that. What we decided to do is build a smaller home, and we're gonna put it on, in a sense, it'll be on stilt. What I have in my mind are metal corrugated culverts you see normally going under a road, water runs through. We're gonna drill piers on the corners of the houses and where I have my support, and we're gonna put those metal pipes in the ground, and then we're gonna pour concrete on top of that. So we've marked where the house is gonna go. You can see this is the flood line. This is what they call 647 for the elevation. My understanding, and you guys please make a comment, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the spillway is about 640. And so when the water gets up to the spillway, the elevation is 640. And these are 647. So what they're allowing for, again, from my understanding, is the water to go over the spillway 7 foot. And that's what they're counting, the 647 elevation. That's what these are. Worst I've heard it go over the spillway is, I believe, 6 foot. So that means the water, we can actually look at the barn over there here in a second and see where the water got up to, but the water's probably gonna get up to about here. And so you're looking at where my house is at and you're like, well, Justin, your whole house is underwater. Well, that's why we're putting it on stilt. So with this being 647, we're gonna try to be at 650. So we're gonna go 3 foot above this. So the back of my house, we'll drill a hole here, put the pipe in the ground, pour concrete. We'll be at about 650. So we'll be 10 foot above the spillway. And this will be the elevation of my home. So this is the back of the house. And I'm gonna step down here. This will be, and this is just a ballpark. We gotta remove some trees and cut down some stuff, but this will be the front of the house. And as you can kind of tell, we're about 4 or 5 foot off the ground over there. So this right here, we may be 6 or 7 foot above the ground. And then same thing over there. That's the other. This dang bamboo. My buddy Kyle next door, he's very upset with the bamboo right now. I think he's been working really hard to get rid of it. It just keeps coming back. So this is the other front of the house. And again, you can see the back corner. We're gonna be a little bit higher up here. We're probably gonna be the first floor. The elevation of the house will be right about here. We'll go look at those tires in a second, but the water's been to about as high as here. And of course you can see that's in line with the flag over there. So this is where the house goes. Take a look at that view. Again, I'm gonna try to leave some trees. These are elm trees. They're not the best trees. And of course, when the water comes up, good chance it'll kill them. You can see there's some other dead trees over there. The waters came up before and it, of course, kills the tree. So once we close on this property, we'll get a skid steer out here and start cutting some trees and getting everything smoothed out. So let's walk down to the water. So I've talked to the Corps of Engineers, and they said I can clear anything that's on my property. I can move any dirt that I want to. Of course, I got to be careful with erosion. Once I start removing dirt and this vegetation, this is good Bermuda grass here. Once I start removing that, I'll be at risk of erosion. So I need to get something back down on the ground to keep the erosion from happening. So we'll walk down here. I'm not gonna walk all the way down there, kind of steep, but you can see the flag down there. Again, this is my southwest, and we'll be able to clean all this stuff in here up to it. Once we get the mowing permit, I can go 30 foot on the other side of that. So you can see that's pretty much gonna clear me almost to the water. Of course, the water is really low right now. Different times of the year, depending on how much rain we have, the water would actually be down there. Of course, we'll go look at the north side of the property where we're pretty much on the water. There's another property flag right here. On the north side, it kind of goes at an angle. So it shoots back from there and kind of shoots back going this direction and curves around to that other stake that we saw. But you can kind of span around here. Some of this is on my property, that's questionable. It's right in line, but it's definitely less than 2 inches diameter. So if it is outside my property line and I get the mowing permit, I should be able to take that out. Of course, that's really not a big deal. It's not affecting the view, but we want to have a nice, gentle sloping yard that we keep nice and mowed going down to the water. Even though this is the Corps of Engineers property we're stepping onto, we still have access to the water. So we can come down here, bring the family and go swimming, go out fishing down here. So we'll walk down here. It's really cool because you always see deer around this area, but I didn't realize like they came right up here to the property, and that's very evident based off all the tracks we've got down here. Deer highway through here, I guess. So I doubt I'll be hunting them out here, but if I really wanted to, I've got my license, so set up a deer feeder and get out with the bow. Of course, Grayson County, we can't shoot the rifle. It's gotta be with the bow, but we'll probably just let them hang out and let the kids check them out, get a deer feeder out, draw them in, and we love seeing deer, so that'll be really neat. Kind of a negative with this property is the City of Denison pump station over here. That is what is pumping all the water into Lake Randell, and I've talked to the city, and they've said this for the last few years that they're gonna be building a new one, and that's gonna be getting removed, but they keep saying it's gonna be a few years from now. Let's walk down to the water. Pretty big tracks. But yeah, now the water's kind of low. We have a little sandy beach we need out here, and see all the heavy equipment over there. That's some of the houses over there. I guess that's where they were having issues with the bank eroding, and I think they almost lost their house. You can see there's a big retaining wall over there, but that heavy equipment's just constantly coming down this road and kind of making a mess. So that'll be nice once they're done with this. Past Saturday, we were out here, my buddy Kyle. I wanna thank Kyle and his family so much because he was running a water line to his property, which is right before mine. And we had previously talked, and I knew that he had owned the property, and I told him I was acquiring this. He's like, well, I gotta put in a water line. While I'm putting in that water line, it makes sense for you to go ahead and put in your water line also, because we've got the trench open. There's no reason to come back later and you trench it separately and maybe mess up my line. I wanna thank him again and his family so much for allowing me to partner up with him and get both of our lines in here. So he rented this really cool machine. It was like a carbide blade, 5 inches thick. It was like probably 36 inches circular, and it was just on this big ditch witch machine, and he pretty much ran it all day, and he just went through the road, and we were cutting through rock and just a lot of crazy stuff. Since the machine was here, he was kind enough to continue to run the trench through here, and we ran it down to our property. And you can see again, that's the southeast corner survey flag, and you can see the big roll. We call that 1-inch poly. So we ran in, and I guess we probably ran like another 150 foot, and then I just left the access pipe there so that we can hook that into the house when we get ready to construct. Let's go up here and look at a little boo-boo we made. So that you guys know, that pump station, again, comment below if I'm incorrect, but I believe they pump water from the lake and they go into Randell, and that's where they treat the property, and that's where the City of Denison gets a lot of their water. But that pump station has a huge pipe that runs underneath here. I think it's 18-inch or 24-inch thick, runs through the road, and they came and checked, and they told us about waist deep. So we were thinking it was 36, 42 inches deep. We were only going down about 12, 16 inches, so we were told we were good to go. It always makes you nervous when you're above the city's main that literally is serving the whole city with water. So as we were coming down, we had already passed Kyle's property. He dropped his line and continuing to trench to get to my property. Again, the 150 foot. But as we're trenching, he's on the machine, I'm kind of watching him. All of a sudden we start seeing the wheel get wet as it's turning on this machine. As he passed the line, just started gushing, shooting up in the air. It took us a second to see it, but we looked down and you can actually see it right here. We hit the line. It's a 1-inch copper line. I go to Home Depot, try to get some parts to just temporarily cap it. We're gonna get a shark bite, cut off valve, put it on there, and then see if we can't cut it off. And as I'm pulling up, the guys told me that one of the City of Denison workers had came by to check the pump station. What we found out is the city main, when they ran this years ago, they had an agreement with some of the neighbors, some of these lots, that they shot off 1-inch line from the water coming in. And so it's not drinkable water, but I mean, it's water from the lake. And I guess because they were destroying the road and putting in the line, they allowed these people to have a 1-inch line that they could use for irrigation for trees and sod and everything. That's the line we hit. Made a mess, and as you can tell, all this rain is not helping, and then we got this heavy equipment. You guys may think I'm crazy, but I'm literally building a house on stilts in the water if it actually floods that much and goes over the spillway. But we'll see. Ooh, ooh. Hey, so I got my coffee.